This is Random Stranger, and I'm playing a little game called Virtuoso. One of the worst games that I think I've ever played. So, just as a quick demonstration here in the setup, let's turn down these sound effects and music because they're really terrible. Well, you can't. It just changes the balance. The controls cannot be configured. You have just a choice between using the keyboard or the joystick, which only has some of the controls mapped to the joystick. You still have to use the keyboard for the rest of them. Skill level, I'm actually turning down. The reason why is that, one, I've been trying to practice slightly for a speed run and it'll go a little bit better like this, but also, even on medium, this game's brutally painful. And while I'm going to be running through a lot of it, I don't want to make myself too miserable. There are 3 episodes to play in Virtuoso, and we're going to start on Mars. So, it is kind of, but not really, a first-person shooter. I'm getting this more for your benefit than mine right now. That is a radar that shows the position of enemies on the map. It is available in the first level of every mission, usually pretty close to the start. Your goal on every stage is to get a key and then get to the exit. That's literally all you do. 1 key, 1 exit. This game was released in 1994, so it came out shortly after Doom. And while it was advertised kind of heavily, it's really wasn't picked up by a lot of people, probably because it was obviously going to be terrible. Okay, so now I've got a monster coming in behind me. That is how fast you can move, maximum speed, including the turning speed. What I just picked up was the map of the area. Let's see, gotta look for that mark on the ground. Yeah. I could have just run through it. The plot of the game, and this is only given in the on the back of the box, it's not in the manual, and certainly not in any cutscenes, is that you're a rock star in the future, and relax, you play video games. So that lovely digitized guy who's definitely not a programmer wearing a terrible wig and jacket is supposed to be a big rock star. You didn't see that icon too well. I'll point it out better when we get there, but it was for health. The bouncing thing there was just for score up. Score doesn't seem to do anything, not even give you extra lives. So you can see I've got that coming in behind me, so I'm trying to run ahead of it. It's actually significantly worse on other levels. Enemies spawn when you cross certain thresholds in the map, and they keep coming. There's no monster closets like in Doom where it would pop open. That is a grenade. When I hit the tab key now, it'll blow up all the enemies around me. You can carry as many of those as you find, so... Yeah, the one thing I think that this game has is that someone actually seems to have put a little bit of effort into some of these textures. For 1994, this doesn't. Some of those textures don't look half bad. Now, right there, you might think that was the bottom left. You might think that icon is to speed you up. You're wrong. That's health. There's other weapons you can get, but you can only carry one weapon at a time. There's no ammo for any of the weapons. And we won't be seeing another weapon for a few more minutes still. And here we start to see a vital technique that'll be used a lot later on, of pressing against the wall. You kind of glue yourself to the wall when you approach it, and that can lead to a lot of problems. When we get a little bit further, I'll explain some of the really horrible things in this game. This is going to be a really short level, but if you don't know what you're looking for, it takes a long time. I'm going out of my way for an extra life here because when you die, you get to keep everything you picked up, including the key to the level. So there are cases where you can do a suicide run for a key and then just restart and go to the exit. So we want the key, which is there. Okay. Now I'm not showing off the whole game because it's really awful, and like I said, I'm trying to move a little bit faster, even if I'm not doing great at it. The exit is this nondescript wall over here that you wouldn't even notice. And now we are hitting portions where it's very likely to die. Jimbo, for some reason, is the default save in the game, and there was actually a save already there when I installed the game. And I installed it off CD. That's right, I have this on CD. I've had it for about 20 years, and I never played it until today. Most of the enemies seem to just move on predetermined paths, so they follow a path and then either die when they collide with a wall or bounce off. So that actually is going to make a speed run a little bit more interesting, because you can just kind of get around things. Enemies that shoot at you, often you can walk between their bullets. If you touch the triangles that are the rocket launchers, that you get injured severely. The sidestep command buttons are the greater than and less than key, and I have to move with the cursor keys. So that's fun. Usually it's better to run toward the giant robots that shoot at you, but I can't really run forward there, so... And I am looking for, this pocket over here. Because I'm going to get my first weapon upgrade. Okay, now that's just points as I recall, so I don't want that. There's actually 2 weapon upgrades in this level. The manual tells me that collecting more than one of the same weapon upgrade makes the weapon stronger, but I haven't actually seen that. This isn't a bad choice for weapons. It shoots pretty fast. It does decent damage. I prefer to use the laser weapon that's coming up. The homing missile launcher, however, is disastrously awful. Oh, there's another thing to point out. You take damage from touching enemies, most commonly, and what they'll do is the game has a bad tendency to just bring them up and have them park on top of you. So you'll flash green and not even notice it because it's happening behind you. And then you'll flash green again, and some of the enemies take away 25% of your life in one shot. So you can be dead in just a couple seconds without even knowing that you're under attack. Differences between difficulty levels seem to mainly come down to how much damage things do to you. There was a spot on the floor that you couldn't really see, and here we are getting into the beginning of the terrible, terrible levels. I'm only going to show a small portion of this level because it is vast, maze-like, and lethal to wander around in. I gotta move fast, gotta catch up with this robot because there is a door there that will slam, and it just did. It slammed on me and did a huge amount of damage. And you've got to walk in such a way that you can get around the robots that are in there. You don't want to attack them because they can walk through the doors. But touching them does huge damage to you, and so does touching the doors. We are going to have to go through a long section where I'm going to be following robots through doors. Okay. Whoop. I got stuck on the wall there. Like I said, you glue yourself to the wall sometimes. There. Should be a robot in here somewhere. He might have wandered off. There he is. Okay. And here we go. Let's get these guys out of my way. Ideally, I want one robot that I can follow. It's not going to happen that way, though. Okay, you can see right there, that was the slamming door. I got to follow that robot through the slamming door, and I got caught in it. Okay, we gotta just get up there. Don't touch the big red robot, but get around it. There. Okay, that was pretty good. And this is the last slamming door set. Okay, good. Everybody's in the other lane. And I got clear. Okay. Want the life up. Want to kill one of these two red robots. Want the exit. Whoop, I want the extra life. That's the heart. Is the extra life. Okay. And whoop. Let's not do that. You can see how, even though I got the updated green, it didn't really make me do extra damage. Okay. So we just have to get caught up with these robots. Get through this door. Okay, we're clear. There is another health up right here that I saved for after that segment. Let's see, I'm doing really well on lives. There's another extra life that's doesn't take too long to get in this stage. Dang it! Doesn't take too long to get in this stage, but I'm gonna pass it by. So down this hall, A lot of identical looking corridors in this stage. The end here, you tend to turn on 45-degree angles if you just tap the button. I've seen someone say that there's no elevation differences in this game, and there are. There's a couple very small spots where you can go up and down very slightly. Why they didn't do something more with that, I don't know. You cannot save in the level, by the way, just at the beginning. Okay, so now there's a robot behind me. Crap. I crossed the line you saw and the robot appeared again. Okay. I shouldn't have done that. I wasn't thinking. I'm really getting beaten up. This is a case where I need to run forward, and I'm not doing it. There you go. That's why you run forward. I cannot get through those walls beside me. I thought it was going to be clear of that. Okay, run forward so that the shots converge past me. And perfect. Okay, we got rocket launchers back in narrow quarters. Get ready for a lot of that for the rest of this mission. Now the manual says that each mission is... I suppose I should show you the map. That's what the map look like in this game. Not particularly helpful, but if for the maze layouts, the maze levels, you got at least something. Okay. The manual says that there's 8 levels to each mission. This is not true. There are 10 levels in this mission. And I was furious when I found that out, because I thought 8 levels, I'm finally done. I don't have to play this anymore. Nope. And then my video was corrupted anyways, so. Okay. I'm playing the PC version, and I have read that there is a 3DO version as well, which is apparently equally awful. See, there's an extra life on the other side of that. Doing really well here. There's no health up there. I'm just going to go to the exit. Well, that was different. I've never seen them go through walls like that before. Okay. Shoot, I shouldn't have done that. I need to run forward. When the robots stop, that's when they're going to start shooting at you. Okay, so go around this side, and a sharp left, and I was a little bit worried that there was going to be a robot that was going to hit me from that side. That's why I was trying to come that way, but all worked out. Now I just teleported. Okay, here's where sticking to the wall helps. Whoop! I got touched by... I touched the triangle thing. Okay. Didn't even intend to. I just backed away from the... popped off the wall. That's how you die. Okay, now you can see I still have the key, and I'm actually in the area where my... I'm actually in the area after I climbed up the ladder. So, rather than forcing me back to the start, I'm here, and I'm just going to keep going. There's the exit. Yeah, if I had it brushed up against the missile launcher, I would have been fine. Okay. And we are in a really, really horrible stage land now. This is probably the worst level in this mission. Okay, I need to get through this door when that robot goes through. And run to the end of this corridor. Okay, I cannot do the wait until he gets there and then shoot him trick because... Oh, crap. Dang it, now I'm stuck to the wall. Okay. There's a rocket. That rocket launcher in that room would have gotten me if I had tried to run forward to block to dodge his shots. So we're gonna leave that because if I survive what's coming up, then I'm going to want that help back. Okay, so I'm gonna take the left here. This is a good place to use a bomb because there's 3 of those guys. And I want the blue gun. I probably should have left those behind, but that's alright. Okay, here we go. Now, I just have to remember, this is a bomb here, which I'm going to use in a minute because these guys are all over the place in here. Clears that out nicely for me. On the left, and... is this the right corridor? Dang it. I'm getting turned around. That is not the right corridor. Okay. That's the right corridor. And I don't have a robot handy to walk through this for me, so I'm going to run through the door. There's one up there. Okay. And here, what tends to happen is I'm supposed to wait for that red robot, but that takes forever. So I just run through. And despite that being a ladder, it does not go anywhere. So now I'm intentionally getting myself killed because it's much faster to walk back. Okay. Wait for the robot. Hope you guys like waiting for robots, because there's going to be a lot of that. This is the end of the slamming doors, at least. And I did not make it. Oh, I did! Nice. Okay. And that guy is a bit of a... I thought I made that too, but pushed my luck a little bit more than I should have. Oh well. Okay, gotta kill that guy. Don't kill the robot there. Get through that door. I have to wait for the robot. And I'm gonna have to just go for this door, I'm afraid. There's another robot that should be following me, or I should be following, but I ran ahead of him, so... Here we go. Oh, is he coming? He's coming. Okay, we're gonna wait for him then. Because with the rocket launcher on the other side, I have to get through the door, stick to the wall. And avoid that electricity, which I did really nicely by sound. That was semi-intentional. And I'm going over here because there is a 1-up. Okay. And things are going to get worse before they get better. Okay. Now this is probably the easiest stage in the game. They throw tons of health at you, absurd amounts of health. It's like every 4 steps there's health when you get up ahead just a little bit. And it's one straight corridor. They don't do the spawning guys behind you constantly like they do in a lot of stages. There's a couple traps to watch out for, but nothing that will kill you instantly, and not in such quantities that you're going to get slaughtered. So, whoop, waiting for the fire. There it is. Okay, I gotta run between this guy's bullets. Okay. There's one more fire. There it is. Okay. And I need to save my grenade in this case, because I don't think my path has a lot of grenades left on it. And yeah, get ready to see tons of health just thrown at me. Which is why I'm not really caring about these smashers, because just more health than you know what to do with. Wait, I took the wrong turn. That's okay though. Because the right path is just a couple seconds back. And I think, yeah, this is the way. Crap. Okay. I wasn't lined up well for those. That's alright, there'll be more health in a second. See? There we go. This time I was lined up for his shots. Not lined up here, though. Did I get him? Yeah, I got him. Okay. You know what? I don't need the health. Let's just walk. Keep that in mind. Okay, now I do want that health. Don't need that one though, but it's there. Okay. Don't need those 2 health packs. And we're just about to the end of this stage. Shoot. This wouldn't be a bad place to use a grenade if I had a spot. See, there's some elevation I can walk up if I really wanted to. That's the exit. Oop, I forgot the key. Okay. Thought I was being clever. It's a ways back, I'm afraid. Oh, let's just skip ahead. So, off to the key. There it is. Okay, now that is a really crappy gun on the front end there. So we're going to go around it. Still need that key though. Shoot, it's on top of it. Didn't realize they did that. Well, now I've got the worst gun. It is a homing rocket launcher, which you can't even see because I need enemies for it to home in on. There we go. We're skipping ahead to the end of this stage, so... So let's talk for a moment about why this gun is so terrible. The big issue with it is that it homes instead of targeting the enemies that you want, it has a bad tendency to veer off and go someplace else. Alright, this next stage isn't too bad, but it has, it's long and doesn't have a lot of health. So it's like they gave you a ton of health before, and now they're giving you no health. Stop for a second. Ooh. I'm getting torn up by something I can't even see. And you can see there's the... it's just not working. I think I'm going to wind up dying here and having to go back. But, because this stage uses a lot of ladders, that isn't so bad. There's the one thing that the rocket launcher is decent at, is sometimes you can set yourself up to shoot around corners. It's not often, and it doesn't always work out very well, but it does work occasionally. But there we go, I can switch back to my blue gun. Okay. Here we go, around the corner. That was really convenient. We're gonna go through that. Don't technically have to hug the wall like I would in some other places for this one. I just wound up getting glued to it despite my efforts. Whoop, we're gonna back up. Wait. Whoop. We're getting kind of jumped there, so just getting out and walking on because guys spawned behind me. There's the key. Can't really miss it here. And whoop. See, I think, yeah. Okay. About to say, I think there's a flame there. Okay, another rocket launcher to chase down. There it is. We're getting pretty close to the end now. think it's after this set of flame traps, if I remember correctly. I might be thinking of the wrong spot then. We're almost there. Around the corner. We need this grenade in a couple seconds. There's a couple more rooms like that coming up, unfortunately. There's the exit. Alright. One more stage, and this is probably the worst one. Lots of enemies that spawn behind you suddenly, and they can keep coming forever. Oh, and these doors that you have to be exactly positioned to be able to get into properly, to get through them. Okay, so I cross the line, this guy spawns, but another guy spawned behind me as well. And there's just absolutely no room to dodge anything in here. Or even get yourself properly aligned. So I go through, and there's also guys behind me. So let's go back, kill them. There's a guy behind me as well now. Get used to that happening a lot. And come through here. Okay, there's guys behind me. And there's a bunch of guys here in front of me. And there's no place for me to go. Those guys will screw me up as I'm trying to navigate the room if I don't smash them. So, there. Okay. Now there is health in this room coming up in a second. There's another robot that will spawn though. There he is. Okay. And one of these pods has a red weapon, which we do not want. Okay. Whoop. Alright, we're through. Now, things go from bad to worse. So that was a rocket launcher. I always screw that up because I see the robot appear first, and then I move forward to dodge him, and I wind up walking right into the rocket blast. Okay, there is health available in a couple minutes, but it's past some robots and through the room of death. Okay, every time I enter this intersection, robots will appear on all four sides and start shooting at me. So the only thing I can do is just try to get through the sections I need to, and then run past. Get some health. There is a grenade I'm going to need, around the next one. It's either get a grenade or fight a room full of 30 robots. Okay, so I'm doing this even though okay, what is connecting there. That's weird. Okay, and go. There's my grenade. And full health. Okay. Now, I need to get down this hall. Okay, we're just going to make a run for it. Alright, now the map is kind of a liar here, because it says that there's multiple paths you can go, but they're all sealed off when you go down them. So, we're going to go down this hallway. Run down this corridor, which has a robot there. He'll be back. Okay. And we just want that. Okay, awesome. Uh-oh. Good. Okay, so that. You can see how the timing on that's just incredibly tight. Kind of a little bit random too, which is... So, the map said that the end of that hallway where I got the key at was open. Okay, not going to be able to do anything about dodging this hall. Dodging in between their shots requires me getting in the path of those rocket launchers. Alright, up here's what I needed the grenade for. That's a lot of robots, but they're all dead now. That is health over there, but I'm not going to get it. Because the last room is right here. If I can get a couple more steps, we're done. Okay, just have to get through the door. Come on. Yay! And that is the Mars mission of Virtuoso. We're going to pick this up next time with the haunted house.